Good morning and welcome.
You're welcome.
Well, good morning. Today is Wednesday, September the 18th, 2024, and you're on with your host, Dr. Mary Seegers, on Wisdom Wednesday podcast. And I want you to listen to my new intro as we hit it here. All right, little technical difficulties here. I worked this out before, but I want to welcome you officially. And as we've been saying for September, keep it real. Let's keep it real. And I have a phenomenal friend and a guest. She's going to share her wisdom and her experience with us. But before that, you know the drill. Grab your coffee cup. Mm, and join in on the conversation. I want to welcome officially Vikki Shaw. How are you this morning, Vikki?
I am doing well, Dr. Mary, and I am happy to be here on Wisdom Wednesday podcast with you.
I'm so glad you said yes. So let me share a little bit more about this woman who's going to share her wisdom with us today. And let me read her bio so you can get to know her like I know her. Vikki Shaw's passion in life is to provide support and hope to those facing serious illnesses, especially cancer, and to caregivers who walk this journey with them. With over 35 years of experience as a nurse, RNBS, Vikki's career highlights include leadership roles such as director of hospice, executive director of nursing, and compliance advocate. She designed and initiated a grief group for the community, helping individuals to cope with the loss of their loved ones. Now an independent associate for Legal Shield, ambassador to the Livonia Westland Chamber of Commerce, and secretary to the Southfield, Michigan AARP, chapter number 3484, Vikki continues her service in a new way. Recently certified as in the cancer care leadership training by Our Journey of Hope, she focuses on supporting families and caregivers through their cancer journeys. A life coach by experience, Vikki shares daily scriptures, affirmation, and heartfelt encouragement with those in need, believing that God, her North Star, have guided her through trials and triumphs, especially her own battle with neck cancer. And I've received those affirmation, and it's so uplifting, so encouraging, so inspiring. So I thank you so much for that, sis. Her advocacy extend to cancer support group, grief care, literary, literacy efforts, and more, always with a mission to bring healing, comfort, and renewed strength to others. Now, you talking about keeping it real. That's keeping it real. So, Vikki, how do you find time to do all the things that you do, not only for yourself, but to others and the communities?
Well, that is a big question for everyone when you have a busy schedule. But what I do is first be authentic to myself and staying connected with my inner spirit and maintaining genuine connections with people around me physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's about intentionality, making conscious choices to stay grounded in truth, being present, and serving others with a genuine heart. In Southfield AARP, our mission statement is to serve and not to be served.
Oh,
So
like that.
that is one of the things we stand for.
Yes. And you do that well because you have such a giving heart. And I've seen you in action. It's not just talk. I mean, that's who you are, right?
hmm
Because you know when
Hmm.
people say let's keep it real, keep it 100, it's so cliche and it's so a hip word, if you will. But
Right.
those words are meaningful and powerful because that's who you are, you know.
Yes.
I know.
Hmm.
I mean, did it tell me about it. Was it from your family rearing up? And are you the oldest? I'm trying to think now of your family. Are you
Yeah, I am the oldest out of,
okay?
both parents. There's five siblings.
Yes.
We all are connected with each other. We
Yeah.
grew up in a Catholic home.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
our education,
Hmm.
my dad was determined as a Chicago police officer that we were going to be educated. We lived on the south side of Chicago, and if nothing else he could give us, and his true authentic self is exposing us to a better way of life.
And that's where your roots came from that then,
That's
right?
where my roots
Yeah.
came from.
Isn't that
And
powerful?
yeah, and so you have to stand on what you believe.
Yeah.
One of the things I was thinking about when I was invited to the podcast
Hmm.
is staying intentional. What examples do I have of being a great intentional person, being my authentic self? And I want to share just a little story about my cancer journey.
Please.
As I reflect on what it means to stay intentional
Hmm.
and authentic, my journey is one of my most defining parts of my life. Being a 5-year head neck cancer survivor has
Yeah.
shaped the understanding of authenticity in a way I couldn't even imagine.
Mm.
There were days when I felt overwhelmed with fear, uncertainty, physical exhaustion, and I needed to know what to do and where to go.
Right.
In August in April 2019, is when I received this message of cancer. And when you receive the message of cancer, where does the authentic goes? Where does your intention goes? Well, that is something you have to bundle up
Oh,
and have a faith of saying, okay, I can get through this.
yes.
And the doctor said to me, he said, this is very unusual. Only 5% of the population get head neck cancer.
Wow.
And it was found in my left tonsil
Hmm.
that radiated to my neck, my salivary glands, swallowing, and I received chemotherapy and proton beam radiation. I was faced with choices to either let the disease define me
Ooh.
or dig deep within and stay true to who I was. Okay. It's in these challenging times that authenticity was my anchor.
Hmm.
I have to be real with myself, acknowledging the fear and the pain, but also deciding that I wouldn't let it take me away from my hope, my spirit, and my life.
Wow. Now that's standing firm on who you are. Can't
Right.
not define you, you know?
Not defining you.
That's right.
And discovering when you're doing your recovery,
Hmm.
uh, I have to realize the importance of staying connected with my inner spirit and that with prayer, meditation, focus, love, support, I had all around me. I just had to learn how to tap into those.
Hmm.
And we don't normally do that because we feel alone and isolated.
Yes. Wow.
I learned that being authentic isn't just about showing strength all the time.
All right.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
about allowing yourself to be vulnerable.
Hmm.
Two, it's okay to admit when things are tough
That's right.
because the part of being real with yourself and others.
Yes.
Okay.
That's right.
So when you look at that,
Yes.
it's very important that you understand where you are,
Hmm.
where that diagnosis came from,
Hmm.
and who you believe in. And I believe in God.
Amen. Amen. And being in the medical field, sometimes, you've seen cases, before in your practice, and then something happened to you personally. It's almost like, wow, does that kind of get you unbalanced or thinking, why is this happening to me? Like 5%.
Yeah, during my nursing career, I
Hmm.
have seen many people go through many cancer, chronic illness,
Yeah.
sudden death.
Oh, wow.
Um, myself,
Yeah.
I experienced sudden death. At the age of 29, my husband died
Hmm.
just like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Um, how do you reach those souls?
Hmm.
How do I know if I'm a survivor of this? Because the pain is great.
Oh, yeah.
But also, you need to reach out. What we don't do sometimes, we stay within ourselves, especially me. Sometime at one time, I was a little loner. So I thought, oh, I could do this all by myself. Well, can you? No. I can do it with the help, number one, of God
Amen.
and those who surround me,
Yeah.
family, friends, and loved ones.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's a very powerful thing when you're a nurse and all of a sudden you get diagnosed with cancer. And you know all the treatments, you've seen all the side effects,
Mm,
you've seen all the failures, you've seen all the success.
right.
Where do you get your hope from?
Mm,
Your hope comes from within you,
yes.
using your brain, your
Mhm.
mind, your soul to say,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
can I get through this? And I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
I got through that part.
Wow.
And, another thing when you're going through cancer,
Mhm.
um, people have to understand, and that's why I became certified in cancer care leadership, because I think that people don't need to be told what to do. All they need is someone to guide them from where they are. We forget that. We sometimes we mentor people from where we are, but
Mhm.
we have to step back
Yes.
and listen. Key number one, listen to what they're saying
Mhm.
and how we can keep them intentional.
Wow.
Okay, we got to keep them themselves.
Mhm.
And sometimes we want to fix things as nurses and doctors, and we can't always fix things.
Right,
Okay?
right. Mm,
There's not always an answer to
mm,
everything.
right.
So when you have cancer, is that a terminal sentence? No. Okay. No one but God can tell you whether you're going to be here or not tomorrow. And you'll know because you won't know because you'll be gone.
That's
Okay.
right.
Okay. Sometime, I remember a group of doctors when I was going through cancer care and they had a conference to
Mhm.
talk about the type of treatment. And then they all were talking in their expert tones.
Mhm.
But remember, and people out in the podcast, remember, they are people too.
Yes.
They're doing the best they can through diagnostic tests,
Mhm.
x-rays, whatever they can use
Right.
to best fit you. And everybody who has cancer does not experience it alike. That's another thing.
Mhm.
Everyone has their own story, but we all can empathize. We all can work with each other through
Right.
the experiences we have.
Yes. And as I was reading your bio, and I've seen you in action when you give people counsel or testimony, if you will, that's experience that you've had, and you can relate to them. Maybe a different cancer, but the fact that it was diagnosed as cancer, and that's keeping it real in that sense. That I kind of know what you're going through because I've kind of had a similar experience, and I'm sure people that you minister to can really appreciate that and feel your
Mhm.
sincerity and your realness, when you share what you've gone through. Have you found that to be true, Vikki?
Yeah, I think that when you're going through cancer
Mhm.
and you look at what cancer is,
Mhm.
okay,
Yeah.
it attacks the cells in your body, it accumulates and it causes destruction of your red blood cells and normal cells. So what you need to do is I tell people, and I was talking to someone yesterday,
Yeah.
and they were in the hospital, and they said, I'm leaving the hospital today. She has cancer,
Hmm.
stage 4 breast cancer.
Hmm.
It has metastasized. The doctors had her there Sunday. They told her that they would, do certain procedures to help relieve her pain and symptoms.
Hmm.
And they have not done it yet.
Hmm.
And it's 2 days into the hospital. So what is she thinking? I'm going to leave. I called her. She said, I'm leaving this hospital today if they do not do this procedure.
Hmm.
And I said, that is your choice.
Hmm.
But I want you to think about this. Have you used every avenue to make sure? People are afraid to pick up that call button. Pick up the call button and say, hey, doctor, I do not understand why I'm waiting so long. What's going on?
Exactly.
And if you have any financial situations, make sure you call the social worker.
Hmm.
They're there for a reason. And
Yeah.
if they don't come within 24 hours, ask your nurse again. I
Yeah.
need to see this. So, two things I ask her to do if she chooses to leave the hospital.
Mhm.
One, make sure she gets clarity from the doctors of what she can do when she goes home,
Right.
what resources she has. Number two, if you have financial difficulty or you have caregiver needs or you need equipment in your home, they have resources there. Make sure you ask. And you know what she said to me? I didn't think about all that.
See, see, wow.
I didn't think about all that.
Hmm.
So there are some things that I can focus on and keeping her intentional to her, because her outcome does not look good according to the doctors, but
Right.
to her,
Yeah.
she's a survivor.
Yes.
So
Wow.
she talked about going home. What about herbals, Vikki? What about holistic, Vikki? What about this? And if I
Right.
can't answer it,
Mhm.
Dr. Mary, I will not. I will say, I will get someone who's
Mhm.
an expert in that area and they can share the information with you.
Wow. That is keeping it so real. I know that's in the cancer or diagnosis area. Let's just go into like relationships. So many times, people are looking for either loved ones or whatever, and someone to be loved and be in a relationship. That's where the rubber meets the road. You got to be authentic, real, candid. What is your take on, that in that area in relationships, keeping it real?
A relationship between people or
Yeah.
a relationship between a loved one or a partner.
Hmm.
Okay. I look at that as number one, letting that person know who you truly are.
Mm.
Sometimes when we meet people, we put on fronts or we want people to perceive what we think we want them to think who we are. That's not who I am. I'm going to come to you for real.
That's right.
Okay. You have a choice. We
Mhm.
have choices in life.
That's
You
right.
could be connected or you could be disconnected,
Yeah.
whatever way you want. But
Right.
you want to find someone like minded,
Mm.
like spirited.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're a Christian,
Yeah.
I would want somebody, and I am someone who has spiritual beliefs.
That's right.
Okay. If I like certain activities, then I would want someone, but everyone will never meet your total full picture of your perfect relationship. I don't know of a perfect relationship. People talk about, oh my God, but right now, for the first time in my life,
Yes.
after 60, I can say, I finally found a friend,
Yes. Yeah.
someone who I don't look at as, the typical husband and wife right now,
Right.
because I was married and I
Right.
lost my husband very young,
Yeah.
sudden death.
Yes.
And it took years for me to find someone who could be a compatible partner.
Yes.
Three advices on relationship, whether it's with a partner,
Mm.
friends, relatives, whoever.
Right.
One, open communication.
Yes.
If you cannot be honest about how you feel,
That's
it
right.
will not work.
Say that.
Two,
Hmm.
when you say you're going to do something, do it. If you can't do it, then let that person know. You don't have to explain every detail to them.
Mm-mm.
You just have to let them know, hey, this is real in my life right now. I'm sorry I can't keep this commitment, but that's reconnect soon.
Yes.
And three,
Hmm.
you got to love yourself. How can you love
Ooh,
somebody else before you can't love yourself?
that's
And
right.
if you don't love yourself, then you can't love anybody else.
Oh, yes.
Those are my three values of a relationship and keeping it intentional
Yes.
and keeping it authentic.
I love that. Young people and even older people, listen to what she's saying. This is some wisdom on high because those 3 points will make you a better person. It'll make you who you were meant to be. You'll keep it real, right?
Keep it real.
And with so much falsehood going on, like false news, fake news, is we need to be genuine. We need to be real. It's a time out for all that. I call that high school craziness. We're adults, we're living our best life, and so make it a real deal. What you see is what you get.
Yes, that's right. Very much so. And,
Yeah.
just to say a little bit about the political climate,
Yes.
that's what I'm going to talk about just for a second.
Yes. Yes.
We have to know it's amazing
Hmm.
what our belief systems are. Okay.
Right.
What were you raised? My family, typical Catholic, inner city, Chicago, Democrat,
Right.
hardworking people.
Right. Right.
Um, and then there has always been the people of the haves and then the have-nots. Okay. But I think with the political climate today, the only message I have to say is think about what your future will be for your family, yourself, and others.
Mhm.
Okay. We are a country that live in democracy.
Right. That's
We have freedoms that a lot of other countries do not have.
so
And
true.
we have a choice to vote.
Yes.
And if I say nothing else today, nonpartisan wise, you have to vote.
That's right.
Because if you don't complain.
That's right. So true. And that's again being authentic and real, and do the right thing. You know what I'm saying? Do the right thing. Yes. When we look in our communities, I know you're very involved in AARP. Have you found yourself that sometimes people will try to put you in a position where you can't be your authentic self? And how would you, it's just a scenario, if someone was trying to, force you to step outside your values, your core
Hmm.
standards,
Hmm.
what kind of counsel or advice would you give to a person when you're in that kind of environment? 'Cause some people are facing that, in the work,
Yeah.
whatever. Hmm.
Thank you for asking a little bit about AARP.
Yes.
Um, I don't know if you know this, but people 21 and over can join AARP these days
Okay.
because we need to keep AARP connected with
Yeah.
the younger generation. And I just wanted to mention that real quickly.
Thank you.
And my intention with AARP,
Hmm.
okay, so that I can help foster other people's sense of security, is
Right.
to foster a sense of community,
Yes.
build relationships, and support the needs of our members.
Mhm.
We're older. Hopefully, now we will integrate younger. It's not about just organizing meetings or events. It's
Right.
about making sure everyone feels heard,
Mm.
supported,
Yeah.
and included.
I love that.
My goal is to contribute to the chapter that focus on making life better for seniors
Hmm.
and those in our community. I believe when our intentions are good, the outcome naturally flows. So when people are in the AARP, we have a growing group. Oh my God, a large group in Southfield
Hmm.
of, with professionals and older people. Our oldest member is 98.
Wow.
And they really want to be included.
Hmm.
They want to be heard.
Sure.
And this gives them an opportunity to express the needs,
Yes.
even their immediate need, their neighborhood need,
Mm.
There's things going on in people's neighborhood that needs to be addressed
That's right.
and community needs.
Yes.
So AARP gives these people a chance
Hmm.
to kind of be themselves
Mm. Yeah.
in the real sense of being heard
Right. And to let their voice be heard, like you
and
said.
let their voice be heard.
That's powerful.
Correct.
That's so powerful. I know you mentioned in your bio that you're part of the Legal Shield. Can you share with the podcast audience? That's another area where people need real, legal counsel, real legal, not make believe. So you want to expound on that a little bit, Vicky, if you don't.
Oh yeah.
Hmm.
Legal Shield and ID Shield. I just begin to really believe in it because there is so much need. Um, I want to say through offering these services, many people don't even realize that there are affordable and accessible legal and ID services.
Hmm.
Many people have trouble. When you think about legal matters, when you think about ID protection, you don't think it's going to happen to you,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
it can happen to anyone.
That's right.
These services are offered to individuals, family, small businesses, providing them with legal and identity that otherwise would be expensive and complicated. This
Hmm.
is what I tell the people that are interested in my legal show. You go to a lawyer, you pick up the phone, you
Right.
got a traffic problem,
Okay.
you were in an accident. You don't think it's your fault,
Hmm.
but you got the ticket.
Hmm.
And that happened to me. Okay. So what I tell them is,
Mhm.
and I tried both ways. I called Legal Shield, and within 4 hours, they called me back. They had me upload the ticket and any supporting documentation I had. He read it over. He called me the next day.
Mhm.
We discussed it, and they set the court appointment. And he went without me. He
Mm.
said, "You don't need to be present." And this is just a short story, but the
Yes.
day of the court hearing,
Mhm.
after the exact verdict, he
Right.
called me and he says, "I have good news for you. You don't have any penalties on your license. You don't have to have continuing education. All you have to do is pay $200 court costs." Now, I called another lawyer in the meantime,
Mhm.
still didn't hear back from that other lawyer. The verdict, everything has been solved. He called me back a week later. He
Mm.
told me that I had to pay $1,500 down deposit plus an hourly rate of $300
Mm.
an hour. Then it would take him longer. Okay.
Mhm.
So, what I tell people with Legal Shield, you don't see it on TV announced every day,
Mhm.
but it is by word of mouth the best legal services you can get for a monthly rate. You can also, in that legal services, get your will done, get your will updated
Mhm.
without any extra costs. So when you look at Legal Shield, my true intentions is to educate people and
Yes.
tell them, hey, you're getting married. Do you have a prenup? Do you have special items you want to protect?
Right.
Legal Shield can do that for you. Your neighbor dog is barking. You call the police. You're tired of this. This has been going on, for 3 months.
Mm.
Call Legal Shield. Legal Shield can write letters in your behalf,
Yes.
write, make a phone call in your behalf,
Mm.
make recommendations to save you a lot of hassles.
Mm.
What's better than a peace of mind?
That's right. Wow. And you said something about the ID protection and where people
ID
don't
protection,
IDs. Yes.
this is running rapid.
Mm.
Foster scams are
Yeah.
on the uptick. Let me tell you,
Hmm.
people now can call you on your phone,
Hmm.
text you, or email you
Right.
with someone familiar to you, and it's not them. A lady, yesterday, I heard in a meeting, a lady received a call from her grandson going to college.
Hmm.
He said, Grandma, I need money. Okay. I can't afford, my car broke down and I need $2,000. And she said, why didn't you call your mother? And he said, oh, she wasn't available, Grandma. And I know that I can talk with you. Something with his grandma said, he wouldn't normally do that. His mother and father would come through. She
Hmm.
hung up, called her daughter, called her grandson, and
Hmm.
it was not them.
Wow.
That's how easy it could happen to you.
With that AI, yeah,
With
artificial.
the AI coming up, uh,
Yes.
checks, be careful with checks.
Mm,
People can reinvent checks looking exactly
mm,
like checks you have or a business check. And on your emails,
mhm.
make sure you update your passwords,
Yeah,
please,
yeah.
because people have a way now.
Hmm.
If they get any element of your information,
Hmm.
they work on it. And these people live 24 hours a day doing this.
That's terrible. Scammers are talking about being not real. That is not real at all.
That's not being real. So
Amen.
my intention with
Mm,
Legal Shield and ID Shield is
mm.
to make you aware that these services exist
Yes.
and they're affordable. And another thing I just got to briefly promote
Uh-huh.
right on your phone. I can download an app on my phone for Legal Shield and ID Shield.
Hmm.
I can see when somebody is compromising my intent. They will let you know right away.
Wow.
Usually you have to go to your computer, look at your emails, and
Mm.
you know how many emails a lot of us get a day. Okay. So I'm not going to cipher through everything, but right
Right.
here on my cell phone,
Yes.
I can get the information. Or
Wow.
if I need a lawyer in the middle of the night, traffic stop.
Mm.
There is a emergency 911 number, and a
Mm.
lawyer will pick up and assist you.
Wow.
That is the advantage of Legal Shield and ID Shield. And thank you for letting me say that.
Yeah, and that's keeping it real,
That's
100%
keeping
real.
it real.
Yes, that's powerful. I could talk to you all day, Vicky, and I just want you to share, if you don't mind, your social media, how people can reach out to you to find out about the information you just shared with us, Legal Shield, and also ARP, and maybe the Chamber of Commerce there in Livonia, Westland. So, do you mind sharing that information? So, if they want to reach out to someone who's real and they will keep it real with them and give them the truth, then they can say, I'm so glad I reached out to Vicky. So, share that information if you don't mind.
Certainly. My Facebook page is Vikki P. Shaw. And that's all you have to do. But Vicky is spelled Vikki Shaw. You can also reach me by my email, Vikki as in Peter, Shaw, SHAW at gmail.com. Or if you can't, you can contact me through email and then we can exchange phone numbers and we can walk you through any problems with cancer care, Legal Shield, ID Shield. If you want to join the Southfield AARP,
Yeah.
we're welcoming new members. If you want to join the Livonia Chamber of Commerce, it's called the Livonia Westland Chamber of Commerce. It's two
Mm.
involved.
Oh,
And that was a great union that happened between Livonia and Westland.
yeah.
And if you want to belong to the events, they have a lot of events, a lot of educational opportunities, and
Yeah.
a lot of networking.
Awesome. And when you network, you'll meet some real people.
Oh,
Real.
real people. But stay authentic to yourself.
Yes.
Okay. Never let people, because there are some very sharks, I call them out there.
Yes.
And they're very trained in setting people's mind apart from what our true intentions are.
Yes.
So don't let that happen to you.
And Vicky, any closing, encouraging words you want to leave? I'll leave that to you before we say.
Yeah, I just want to briefly say encouraging word.
Yeah.
As I close out today with you, Dr. Mary, this has been so much pleasure.
I-
Authenticity and I want to say authenticity and intentionality are choices we make every day.
Yes.
They are about staying true to who you are, living with purpose, and making conscious efforts to impact the world in a positive way. When we live authentically, we not only enrich our lives, but also inspire others to do the same. I encourage each of you to take a moment and reflect on how you can bring more authenticity to your life. And a quote I want to say
Yes.
by is called Bree Brown. She says, authenticity is a daily practice of letting go of who you think we're supposed to be and embracing who we truly are.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you, Dr.
powerful.
Mary. It's
Same,
been a pleasure.
same here. Have a great day, and we'll see you next month on Wisdom Wednesday podcast. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye for now.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.